Hey, how you doing? Let me brighten this photograph up here a little bit so you can get a little better perspective on what you're looking at here. This is 1 second at 80 millimeters. And I first spotted this thing, there were two of them. And the second one was right down below it, right here. And to my 400 to 800 nanometer detectors, it looked like an airplane at a distance in a bank on a landing approach. And I thought, well, that's pretty extreme. And those two lights have to be on an airplane that's landing. But I mean, it was like rather, steep angle for those lights to be on approach like that. So it just didn't seem right to me. So I kept watching it. And I lost track of the secondary light, and then there was just this one light out there, and it was out there for, geez, quite a while. The first video I have of it is like at 8:40, and then it goes on to 8:50 or something. A good 15 or 20 minutes that I actually had photographs and videos of this thing. I know it was out there for longer than that. I mean, just, you know, just kind of got that feeling. It had to have been out there for a good half an hour or more. But anyway, let me show you this here. One there, one over here. Now, you could hear the camera trying to zoom in and out, and it couldn't focus on it because there's trees in the foreground, and it wouldn't let me focus beyond the foreground. So I did manage to get a couple of screen grabs from that little quick video of the one on the left. I'll show you more video of the one on the right. But I'm betting that right there is not an airplane. Just a wild guess on my part. I'd like to know what you think, that's for sure. It's another screen grab of it. You can see some multicolors going on here. Again, there were two of these things. This is the one that was on the left. Kind of looks like a peach or something, doesn't it? And you can obviously see the the color changes. So there's something in the core on the inside of this, in my opinion, affecting the outside. And to me, this is what this particular screen grab shows right here. You've got that spindle in the center, and then you've got a casing around the outside, and they're interacting in some kind of way. And I believe that's what's given it the anti-gravitic effects, the interaction between the core machine and the outside metamaterial. I mean, God knows how advanced whatever this is actually is. You know what I'm saying? I'll show you that photograph here in a second that I took. Thing's been sitting there for about 15 or 20 minutes. There's that photograph. And you can see that it looks like it's quote unquote out of focus. But whatever this thing is does not have any sharp edges, so to speak, on the outside of it. This is a apparently a plasma field out around whatever this thing is. Let me show you a little bit more video of this thing here, and I'll get the camera settled down here in a second. And it really does something rather interesting part way through the video.
Dealing with the military, especially in matters of secrecy, the idea is to deceive. There is a manual, you well know, that MJ12, which also states to discourage witnesses, to put out false statements, to protect the secrecy of this 1947 event.
One of the first documents that I got was entitled Extraterrestrial Entities and Technology Recovery and Disposal. The content of the Special Operations Manual is really quite stunning. It explains why it's so important to keep it secret and how they go about the process, how they keep the public in the dark, what lies they tell them, what deceptive statements.
Great care must be taken to preserve the security of any location where extraterrestrial technology might be retrievable for scientific study. The most desirable response would be that nothing unusual has occurred. It may become necessary to issue false statements to preserve the security of the site.
We continued to study the Special Operations Manual and look at each aspect of it and try to determine the authenticity of it. Subtleties like the use of the term Central Intelligence instead of Central Intelligence Agency show a subtle amount of arrogance that is indicative of the Central Intelligence Agency in 1954.
The 32-page Special Operations Manual also includes the Extraterrestrial Technology Classification Table. It details procedures for retrieval of crashed saucers, how to handle organic matter, and where to ship the bodies. The Blue Lab at Wright Field in Ohio was the secret destination for some of this material. A young woman named June Crane worked in a classified office at the base. Shortly before she died, she told her story.
I started at Wright-Patterson in '42. I was 18 years old, and all of the people I worked with were older than me. So I'm probably the last survivor of my lab group and probably the last one still around to talk about it. I had a Q clearance. I worked with scientists and with engineers. I knew a man named Clarence Smith. He was a master sergeant. He came in one day before we started to work, very upset. Clarence told us that his plane brought back 2 bodies in crates from New Mexico. When I asked which plane had crashed, he said, it wasn't a plane, it was a flying saucer. Well, they knew of 3 crashes that I was aware of by 1952. Maybe there were more. In '52, there was a crash cover-up. Roswell was in '47. That balloon story was a damn lie then, and it's still a lie.
Yeah, I believe June was right about that. I don't think this is a weather balloon at all. But check out what it's doing right there. You can see that rotation going on there. And when I was just watching it, I mean, I could see it, like I said, with my eyes at a distance. And it looked like landing light on an airplane. And this is a video that I finally got of it up a little bit closer. When I zoomed way in, I want to show you something here. I'll crop this here and slow it down and give you a little better look at whatever this thing is. Now here I got it slowed down a little bit. So now as you're watching this, you can see there's nothing really there to focus on. I mean, that's not an object like a hammer or a screwdriver or an airplane or something. You know what I'm saying? So if you go back and look at some of my other videos and you look at some of the photographs, you can kind of start to understand that they're not really out of focus, some of them. They are in focus, but what they are, I just don't know. I sure would like to hear your opinion about it, though. So leave a comment down there at the bottom if you would. I'd appreciate it. But this is a pretty wild one here. Like I said, there was 2 of them running around, at least that I know of. So anyway, let me know what you think, like I said, and thanks for stopping by and having a look. I appreciate that. And take care out there no matter what you're doing. Hope we get to do this again sometime. Thanks again.